In the background, neon in the air, 80s vibes, man, we didn't care. VHS tapes staying up too late, Saturday cartoons, can't wait to escape. Dial-ups humming, we're hacking the code, back when everything was in upload mode. Atari, Commodore, pixels on screen, living in the future was more than a dream. It's time to kick it old school, turn the clocks back, break the rules. When the pixels pop and the world was cool, we're taking it back, that's how we roll, you know. It's time to kick it old school, where the beats are fresh, the tech was gold. From arcades to TV shows that ruled, you know we're kicking it old school. MTV playing our favorite jams, moonwalking with MJ, neon slam, Ghostbusters gear, we're ready to go. Chasing slasher scenes, fears in tow. Back to the future, hop in the DeLorean. Knight Rider cruising, man, there's no ignoring them. Battlestar Galactica, what a ride. Looney Tunes antics, pure joy inside. Blockbusters ruled, we lined up for days. Video games booted up in the pixelated maze. Movie marathons and popcorn nights, we ruled the screen, living in the lights. It's time to kick it old school, turn the clocks back, break the rules. When the pixels pop and the world was cool, we're taking it back, that's how we roll, we roll. It's time to kick it old school, where the beats are fresh, the tech was gold. From arcades to TV shows that ruled, you know we're kicking it old school. Grab your joystick, the game's about to start. A high score world, now that's an art. We're cruising on hoverboards, living our dream. Old school forever, we're igniting the scene. It's time to kick it old school, turn the clocks back, break the rules. When the pixels pop and the world was cool, we're taking it back, that's how we roll, we roll. It's time to kick it old school, where the beats are fresh, the tech was gold. From arcades to TV shows that ruled, you know we're kicking it old school.
Today's episode is brought to you by PTZ Optics. Disability upgrade. New Wave Toys and their Replicate Amusements products. GG Retrobox. Get 3 to 5 games from your favorite series, consoles, and game genres delivered to your doorstep every month with GG Retrobox, the ultimate retro gaming subscription box for video game enthusiasts. Use code GRS15 at checkout to get 15% off your first box. And
Boom shakalaka! Hey everybody, it's Tim Kitzer here, the voice of some of your favorite video games like NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. And I'm here to talk to you about Old School Gamer Magazine. It's the magazine for retro gaming, and it's exploding. Kaboom! Print issues come out every other month, and if you want to go green, digital options are available. Visit oldschoolgamer.com and subscribe now. That's oldschoolgamer.com. Boom shakalaka! Kaboom!
All right. My mic. There we go. There's always some audio problem, but I'm here with my boy, Detroit Love. He's here today on Good Friday. He's making a better Friday. Detroit, how you doing, bud?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. No other way to be. How about you?
Well, I'm doing okay. I didn't have a nice milkshake like you just had, so I'm a little sad. I love my milkshakes.
Man, that thing was so rich. I'm glad I just had a taste of it.
Well, I'm going to tell everyone out there. So it looks like, without a doubt, my audio issues have been due to Chrome. Who knew Microsoft Edge was going to be better than Chrome? Had a problem with, if you'll remember, with Nolan Bushnell. Had a problem last week with James Hates Everything. And had a problem today, and it was all due to Chrome. So it looks like I have to switch over to Edge, Detroit. I don't know. It's kind of weird that Microsoft makes something better.
They don't technically make anything better. They copy Chrome, right? So they're using
True.
Chrome. And for theirs to be working in Chrome, not. I recently experienced something that worked in Chrome. We open up PDFs typically in our internal software, but sometimes they send us Word documents, and normally you could just open it. But this week, you can't open up in Chrome. Chrome just blocks it and don't give you ability. You can go and change the setting and say, ask me where to save it. And that's a way to get around it, but it's a pain in the butt. It's like, I got to use Edge. Like, that's a strange thing to say, because remember, IE used to be horrible. Then Chrome came out. It's like, don't use IE, use that. But they have copied Chrome and obviously is doing better than Chrome.
And what's funny, my organization, the hospital system, we have to get away from Chrome because Edge is going to be updated more with like security, malware blocking and stuff. So Chrome has now become a liability. So we're now having to switch out all of our machines and get rid of Chrome and go all Edge. So I don't know, Microsoft, you're getting it there slowly. But let's not talk about that today, man. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about some good things. Escape from work. It's freaking Friday. So first, we have to go through the chat and welcome everyone, right? We always say our welcomes to our people. Always come every week. And of course, this morning, or today, actually, I should say, Steve Sale was the first saying, happy Friday and happy Easter, everyone. We have Jeff here. Jason, of course, our resident moderator of every freaking channel on the entire internet. I don't know where he gets the time. Right. He's always here. Sir Sega's here. Puskin's Run. Eric Thorpe is here. John J. Grandpa Arcade is here, wishing us all a happy Easter weekend. James hates everything, but he does not hate Fridays. And doesn't hate Easter because there's lots of candy and chocolate. We all like that stuff. Stephen M. is here. Goofyfoot. Torg is here. J-Rod. Paul is here. Izzy Real Gaming is here. Andy's Game Room. So we're going down. We have Realm Chat here as well. PB and J, welcome. I haven't seen you in a little bit, so good to see you here. Paul Barris is here. Andy's Game Room. B. Kirby, the Chicago Arcade Guys here. What's up, fellas? The thumbs up over there. Jason S. is here as well. Of course, Detroit Love's in the chat. He's here on the show. I think we got almost everyone here. I think we have Andy's Game Room. We got him. ELO is here. Welcome, ELO. Mike Hawk Hurts. Man, you got to get that checked out, buddy. Brooklyn Menace is here, as always. The VR champion of the world. How have you been doing? You got your VR headset, don't you, Detroit?
Absolutely. I did see Steph's gaming there. I saw Moat also in there. What up, everybody? Appreciate you. Someone's asking, am I doing double duty? No Super Game Room Dudes show tonight, so this is the only opportunity to see Detroit Love tonight. Maybe not this weekend. I might do something this week. You never know where I'm going to pop up. Someone said that in the live.
Of course,
I've been playing the VR. I haven't really played golf like I wanted to. I have this attachment that makes it like swinging a real club. That makes
So you're going to break something. You're going to swing and break something in the room.
Well, I hadn't yet, so fingers crossed. But I took it off to play putt-putt with these guys, even though you can use it with that. And I hadn't put it back on. And then I've been playing the pool or the pinball. And so,
pinball is pretty nice. The the pinball effects, yeah.
Yeah, to put that attachment on, it's just, kind of, I wish it was a little simpler to do it. I can do it more frequently. So what have you been playing on VR?
You know what? I've been playing a lot of the Pinball FX, a lot of that. And I still like my old games. I still go back a lot to the Space Pirate DX. Man, to me, that's a lot of exercise. I'm just like flying around the room doing that. But I'm really enjoying the Pinball FX. Now, there is the X Arcade with the arcade games, Arcade Ranger.
Right.
But I found that the Arcade Ranger, it's okay, but it's really difficult to set up. It's really not intuitive. And it's okay. It's okay. But when you play the Pinball FX, it is such a huge difference. You really see how different they are. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean the Pinball FX VR is AUT-O-matic, right? It's automatic. You don't have to do anything. You just turn it on, and it automatically sees the device there, both devices. It works like a charm. I've started to play with the Arcade Ranger, but I'm having some issue. I think I had some compatibility issues with the games I've chose. Like the game, you can hear the game, but it doesn't show up the video. So I'm like, let me just go back to playing pinball because I ain't got time to be messing around with it.
Right. The only thing they're going to add to that pinball, and it'll be like an 11, is having friends be able to join, right? That is the only thing that's missing. It is just such a good. If you guys have not played, if you have a VR headset and you haven't played the Pinball FX VR, you're really missing out. It's even on a solitary, it's a good experience. But when they add multiplayer or just having people in your room, like with the golf games, right? Yeah. Like the Walkabout Golf.
Yeah, that would make a huge difference because it's like you got this cool arcade and you're just by yourself. There's not even a virtual.
Well, that's like Glenn's life anyway, Detroit. That's like my life anyway. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I like to have people around. It's like give me an attendant at least in the room. They don't even give you a virtual attendant to pretend someone's there. It's like It's like you snuck into the arcade at night when it's closed, and you're playing these games without permission.
And it's reasonable. I mean, the cost for the app install is not bad. And the packs, some people say I've already got the packs, I got to buy them again. I get that, but it's just a different experience when you can look down. I'm not looking at the glass. You can see the items. You can see the depth. It's just so different and fun. And seeing like an Enterprise or kit drive around you.
Yes, I usually turn off all that extra stuff. I'm old school, man. I'm old school. It's like, look, man, just give me pinball. I don't need nobody standing to the right of me. I don't need stuff jumping up on the screen. I don't need the score to tell me what's on the score. When I hit a bumper, I try to turn all that stuff off when I play. It's just not what I'm used to. And I get why they do that. You know what I mean? It can help you know what's more valuable if you can see the points, right? But they gamify it, right? They gamify pinball. You know what I mean? But
yes,
you don't have to do all that for me. Just
with the Odd Couple, you don't want those bells and whistles. Where I want every bell and whistle going. So nothing wrong with that. It's options, right? You can turn it on, turn it off. It's there.
And they have tons of options. Definitely have tons of options. You can play in practice mode and just get unlimited balls, saves. They give you an hour before you have to reset it. But I've been enjoying that just to get familiar with the table. Pinball is one of those things like you can have a real good game, which I've gotten over 1 billion in I was in top place, but I've since come down second, maybe third, maybe fourth. I hadn't been on a couple days. But I have not been able to get on Star Trek and on the soccer game. I've not been able to get anywhere near those high scores I've had. Like in a week, it's like get in, it kicks my butt, and I drain the ball, and it's done with. And I played.
That's what she said. I'm sorry, I had to say that. I had to throw that in there. She said drain the ball. That's what she said, man. It's just what happens. Sorry, everyone on that one. Not kid friendly on there. Now, Detroit. One of the things I wanted to talk about is I've seen lately been posting a lot more content on your little, right behind you, your little mini arcade setup you've been working on. You've been doing a lot on that.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Man, so I pretty much maxed out my space for big arcades, and New Wave Toys, they gifted me a couple of these things, and so that got me into it, because before I'm like, what do I need this little arcade for, right? I got my big arcades, but I had a couple of them, and then I got another one, then I got another one, then I got the pinball, and then I got the pole position, then I got your Build-A-Cade, which I had bought like over a year ago, and sitting under the pillow under my.
I thought Michael B took forever to build it. You took like a year. You beat him out.
Yeah. I sat there and I kept saying, I'm gonna get that assembled. And when I did, I'm like, wow, this thing is awesome. I mean, the detail for those Build-A-Cades, and you left nothing out from this thing, and for it to be available for $100, that's just freaking ridiculous.
Especially with the Joe Sabo's artwork, that really takes it up so far.
Oh man, that thing, that's definitely my favorite cabinet in the real world, and definitely in my mini arcade as well. Donkey Kong. No, I like Donkey Kong Jr. as well, and you could argue whether I like one better than the other, but I'm keeping it old school, right?
That's it.
You couldn't have Junior without Senior, right? So so you got to honor the the OG, right? So and so I'm always gonna say that. But if it comes down to it, I probably play Donkey Kong Jr. probably slightly more. Donkey Kong 3, I despise. It's just It's
a very different experience. It's not even Mario. I mean, first it was Jumpman, and then it was Mario, and now it's, I don't know, it's Stewart or something like that in Donkey Kong 3. I keep forgetting his name. Stanley.
I mentioned on our show the other day, they were talking about the new Switch and all these new games, and we were talking about Donkey Kong. And for me, in all honesty, I used to have the Nintendo 64, and the kids, my daughters, which are like 26, the oldest is, they started playing the Nintendo 64, because I had it that long, and they played it. And to me, when Donkey Kong went into the Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong died for me. It's like,
I took that as, that's not Donkey Kong. The old one is Donkey Kong. That's like Donkey Kong's grandkid, and then he's not the actual Donkey Kong from the classic game. So that saved it for me. I'm still not a fan of them, but as long as it wasn't the original Donkey Kong. But I have to ask you this: what do you think about the Switch 2 and the price and the game prices and everything? I think they're outrageous. I want to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I saw it's like what, $450 or something like that.
Right, $90 for a game that's physical, $80 for a game that's not. Yeah. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the Switch 2 at this point in time. I have no desire to get Switch 2. I was a late. I came around late to even with the regular Switch, so I didn't pay whatever. I don't know what it came out when it first came out, but I wasn't willing to pay over a certain amount for a period, right? And even when I got it, I'm like, what? I couldn't really get a game that I really enjoyed playing. I was like, I waste my money on this thing until I found the golf. Unfortunately, I have the COVID version of the golf game, where there's nobody in the bandstand, nobody at the greens. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's Justin Thomas, and they've come out with Tiger Woods, which is obviously my favorite golfer, but they didn't make it for a Nintendo Switch. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Now, if they made them available on the Switch 2, I might be compelled to consider getting it, but I have no motivation, no interest in getting the newer one. Same way with the Quest. I have the Quest 2, and people have the Quest 3 and the 3S, and they're like, oh man, it's in color. I'm like, when you pass through, I'm like, I don't live in pass through, so why I care, but no desire to spend money on. I'm a very practical gamer, right? I don't.
We're a lot alike that way, you and I.
Yeah, I don't buy things just because it's the latest and greatest and because it's the fan. I didn't have my PS5 to well after it's been out. The risk you do with that is like you buy it and they could come out with the next one soon afterwards, right? And you're like, if I would have waited 6 months, I could have a newer version. So you always have the risk of being a late adopter to it. But I know you're a collector, and I know you typically buy two things: one to play because you like to enjoy them, but you also have one. I've never really been a collector. I essentially become a collector because I buy things to use them, and then I may get a new one, and then I end up with a box full of Palm Pilots or phones, over the years. So
Showing your age with the Palm Pilot.
What's that?
Showing your age with the Palm Pilot.
Oh yeah, Palm Pilot. That was my thing. I used to run a website called Palm Loyal, and it was quite a good hobby. I used to do it. Probably used to make for $500 or $600 a month off that website.
Nice.
Back in the day. And so I was a big fan. And then Apple came out, and I grudgingly went there, but only because I could jailbreak the Apple at the time. And I could jailbreak it. I could put whatever I want on it. I enjoyed it. But then once I think they bought out the people that were jailbreaking it, essentially. Paid them off to not do it. And since then, I've been on Android with the Google Pixels. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Apple. Steve Jobs, when he came into the fold, not Steve Jobs, but what's the guy's? Tim Cook. Once Steve Jobs died, the whole feeling for that company just changed so drastically. They're just money centric now. So I'm not a fan of Apple, but I wasn't a fan even then, only because I could jailbreak it. I like to tinker, right? I'm like you. I like to. You don't give me something and say, you're going to restrain me from being able to do what I want to do with it. I'm that way with everything. I've never been a programmer, but I can hack anything to change it from this purpose to be what I wanted to do, right?
Right, and that comes in the two camps. You have the iOS people that generally don't want to do that. They just want something to work. They want to just power it up and make it work. Then there's people like us where we really want to customize it. We want to tinker with it, which is something that Apple, but still gets me a little bit. Like they literally will come down on you for jailbreaking it. That's what gets me. When you purchase something, it kills me. You get these license agreements that are 5 miles long. I don't read them. I paid for it. It's mine. Right. I don't care what they say. Here's my cash. I own it. Right. And I'm going to do with it what I want.
Right. And I can see you saying, okay, well, if you jailbreak it, then it's not under warranty and yada, yada, yada. But they went out their way to just destroy that thing. And to this day, the phones on the market can't do 80% of the stuff that you could do with the original iPhone. So it's not that the phone can't do it. They just won't allow it. They
raise prices and take features away.
Right. And
take ports away.
They've been around for 10 plus years or more. I don't know how long they've been there now. But they slowly add these features like, buy the new iPhone because you can do this. And when the original iPhone could do that, they just never allowed it to happen. You know what I mean? So it's just that kind of irks me, about that. But I've been enjoying this mini arcade, man. I'm a big fan of the pinball here, which takes your Switch.
That's the lunar. That's the lunar pinball, right?
Yeah, so they call it the Moonshot.
Moonshot.
Stellar pinball. It's a display piece, right? It's a display piece by its nature, with a full, play field
table. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then, so they have a version that's non-illuminated, so it won't light up at all. But you can put the Switch in it, or they have this one that's illuminated. I have it's kind of washed out with this topper on it. But I bought the topper, but it's a display piece. But you pull out the full place field and put in a Nintendo Switch, and now you can actually literally play pinball on. Using your Switch on this device. And what's nice is you can appreciate this. There's nothing mechanical there. There's nothing electronic inside it. It's just a 3D printed device that literally uses the Joy-Cons. Is that the proper term for the?
Yeah, Joy-Cons. Yeah.
It uses the Joy-Con. There's some mounts in there that you slide the Joy-Cons in, and when you hit the flippers and nudge and that stuff, you're actually just interacting with the actual Joy-Cons to control the pinball. So a pretty neat concept. So there's nothing to break on this pinball, right? Because it's just using the switch,
Right.
And all this functionality.
And it's pretty neat. I have one I built years ago, and I have the one from Scott Sloan. Scott Sloan does a lot of these custom builds. He does amazing work, and but they'll be obviously more expensive. But it's possible. And my video is still not at 10,000 views for my GRS Build-A-Pin. So that's going on like a year and a half or a year.
Okay.
I'm surprised. There could have been a Build-A-Pin out this year, but no, not there yet.
That would be a great idea, man. The pinballs are great. I know Scott Sloan work is fantastic. Yeah, like
Beautiful.
you said, they're expensive. I actually was going to have them do one for me, but when I found this, I'm like, this satisfies my itch for the miniature at a third of the cost, and I already have the switch, right? But he's a great guy, man. He's always shared with me the components that he used, and I could build one if I was inclined to do so. And I could convert this thing very easily with the components that he shared. You know what I mean? To convert that to one. But sometimes I'm fired up about sometimes I'm lazy about it. I'm like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing.
It's only so much things you can apply your time to, right? You know what I mean?
The limited time. But Scott and so many of the people out there who do, they do custom builds or custom products, they still help. Like they don't shield everything down and lock everything down. They're helpful. And that's a really good thing with the community that, again, has keeping the community going for so long that there are still people doing mods. So I just saw today on Macho Nacho Productions, a replacement analog stick for the N64, because the N64 analog stick is known to starts to get wobbly and no good. And if you check his video out today, it's a steel joystick replacement. However, it's $164 for the parts. You're modifying your regular N64 stick with these metal components, and I think for me, like I couldn't do that. I couldn't sell something like that at that price point. I'd have to get that price point way down. I don't know what he's using, who he's using. And I know right now with tariffs, things are a little bit crazy. But I think just for like 4 or 5 parts to replace and fix just the joystick at $165 to me it's outrageous. I could never do that. So aside from that, what else have you been doing? Because obviously, like you said, you're running out of room. I ran out of room a long time ago, and I'm still trying to find ways to and I'm still getting stuff in, actually. I just posted a video today. A really good friend of mine, Tim, who actually I think you met at, we were at the Cleveland Gaming Classic with a gentleman. Yeah, he was sitting at my booth, helped me out. He sent me a TRS 80, the original TRS 80. It's now also called the Model 1, and a display. And that's like one of my holy grails. And I haven't fired it up. I got to take it apart and clean it. I'll probably do videos on that. But I'm telling myself I got to get rid of stuff because I have too much stuff. And yet, when I see something like that, I have to have it. Like it's like breathing. I have to have that in my collection. Is there anything like that for you that you say, you know what, I got no space, but you know what, for that, I'll make room.
Yeah, it's now receiving it free is definitely a better way to get it. But it's funny how we'll complain and gripe about a price of something. Say like this Nintendo Switch 2. But then over here, we'll spend $300, $400, $500 for something without even blinking an eye, right? You know what I mean? Because that's where our interest is. But yeah, the Tandy. I mean, growing up in the late 70s, that to be able to have that Tandy, man, was you had some money that we didn't have. But you always had one of those friends. You always had one of those friends that had the Tandy, that had the ColecoVision, right? And somebody had one thing. So as long as you had access to it, I think you were in a good place back in the day.
So what was your favorite console? I think I probably asked this before, but I don't remember. What was your favorite console growing up?
I would say ColecoVision. ColecoVision was definitely my, now you have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because, while I played tons of Atari, right? I played tons of ColecoVision. I played tons of Intellivision, which at the time, that controller to be able to I played the basketball, the little stick figure basketball, which was, I mean, you look at it now, it's like that was ridiculous. Who would be playing this? But they had feats that what you couldn't do, to be able to move diagonally, right, pass the ball diagonally in television was incredible for the time, you know. But ColecoVision came at a point where the arcades were rich, right? You want to be able to play these things and you know, you want to bring this stuff home. And though what they brought home wasn't the best looking, right, you know, versions of it, you could do it at home. You know what I mean? So it was, so it opened up the possibilities of what could be in the house. You know what I mean? So ColecoVision was just incredible for its time. You know, I had a Tandy, but my biggest computer that really changed it for me was I had gotten hold of an old Commodore PET.
Really?
And, yeah.
That's one machine I think I saw once, but never actually touched.
Okay. Yeah, I touched that quite a bit. I had that at the house. Now, the Commodore PET was green, monochrome, green screen. You know, its input was a tape recorder. It's a cassette, so all the input was audible. You know, so it interpreted this sounds into data. You know, and I played all kinds of games on there. One of my favorite was this horse race. You bet on the horses, and you know, and they run through with their little ASCII legs, right? And you would win. And to this date, I've looked for things that could be the horse racing thing, but it's just I can never find any really good horse betting, you know, simulator that, you know, that does it for me like that did. And then we had this one game where you would go through the caves, and the caves would just be going in different shapes, and you had to just navigate. Almost. It
wasn't like Caverns of Mars, was it? It wasn't Caverns of Mars.
I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember. Back then, I think most things just had one or two words, and they weren't getting too fancy with because most of the things they had for the Commodore PET was designed for schools to be more learning things, but they had these games that you could play after you've done your lessons, whatever, you know. But that Commodore PET, even though my brothers broke it pretty quickly, you know, it's what got me into computers, you know. And so from that,
oh, that's funny. But everything says we're good. It's just, not quite sure. Just give it a minute and see if it comes back.
If you stop the YouTube, it's gonna make you have to do a whole new video, probably.
Yep. Interesting. You know, so now the audio is working today. Now we have internet problems. But again, we're talking, so it's not the internet. It's got to be YouTube.
Right. It's not. It's the OBS or whatever.
I think we're back.
Oh, yep. I got it.
I think we're back. So just so everyone knows, it wasn't us. My back end was working okay. I was still talking to Detroit Love, fine, okay. So it must have been something with YouTube streaming, I guess. I'm not quite sure, but it definitely wasn't me this time. It was maybe there was a tariff. Maybe I didn't pay the tariff tax for the internet. But apologies on that. But we are back. Make sure everything's working okay. And see if that comes over. All right, so before the internet decided, well, I can't say the internet, before YouTube crashed. Because again, Detroit Love and me had no problems. I was talking to Jason as well over here. So we're back. So we'll take it as it is. So we're back. So I forgot, we were talking about ColecoVision, I think, last. I'm trying to remember now. What we were talking about.
Talking about the ColecoVision. But you know, the strange thing about it, even though the ColecoVision was really iconic for me, I have no desire to play any of the old ColecoVision games. I have access to do so, but I haven't. You know, all of my builds that I've done, I keep it strictly arcade. I've not, most of those builds that have like everything under the sun, right, available. but I never add all those things.
James hates everything hit it up. He still knows I'm on dial-up. But James hates everything got it.
Yeah,
You know what's funny though? I go back to the ColecoVision. I go back to ColecoVision once in a while. There's some games I do enjoy playing on it.
Such as?
The version of Zaxxon. I'm a big Zaxxon fan. I like playing that. Venture plays very well on it. Very good arcade port. Obviously, the Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. play very well on it. But any exclusives, believe it or not, I still go back to, well, it's not exclusive really, Mousetrap. So there's a lot of games that I guess now with MAME, you can actually play the arcade versions. But I definitely have a lot of nostalgia because back in '82, when that came out, that was the arcade experience home. That was as close as we ever got to an arcade machine without actually having an arcade machine in the house. The graphics very closely represented them. So I go back once in a while. Now I have I got the Super Game module. And with the Super Game module, it adds more memory, it adds more sound channels, and they can really dial in even closer, almost like Arcade Perfect, which is, it always amazes me when you see, we could talk about that if you want as well, these old machines with these homebrews that come out with stuff that blows us away. So I got to ask you, Carl, when you were, I don't know, let's say 12 to 14 years old, maybe 8 to 10 years old, did you think you'd have what you have in your house right now? You'd be having this type of electronic stuff in your house, and arcades in your house, and playing the same game you're playing in the arcade now at home? Did you ever even think of that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I came from a very, very humble, bringing. There's 5 of us. If we could afford some things, it was going to be food, or And my wife, my mom. And her sisters, they always made sure we got out and did fun things. Like we had a local park here called Bobolo. You take the boat ride over to Canada, and that was an adventure in itself. And we had another place called Edgewater where we could go and do it seemed like it was years and years away, but it was just over there on 7 Mile and Telegraph. And now, as an adult, it's like it was just right around the corner. But back then, people didn't have cars like they do today, and you were kind of refined to your areas, right? And my grandmother's from Canada, so we were always over in Canada, so we had some great experiences. But we didn't have money like that, so so to be able to get access to things like ColecoVision and things like that, those were treats that was exclusive to people who didn't have 5 siblings, right? Or the people that was the only kid, things like that. So you had to make sure you had some friends that didn't have so many siblings, But yeah, to be able to go out and play things, and even like this pole position, for them to get that at such a low cost, for it to be arcade accurate and such a fun device, man, that's just mind blowing. That
I think that was the one that actually won P-Dubs over. He didn't like any of my arcades. And the pole position, the Space Invaders, and the Street Fighter, they did a fantastic job on those. And especially at the price point, like you said. I mean, you're talking about $50.
Yeah, $50.
But tell us what you think about that pole position, honestly.
Oh man, that pole position! I had no experience. I didn't realize I do have another product from my arcade, and that's the Ikari unit. But my daughter's got that for me for Christmas.
Nice.
And I got it. I modded. I don't even know if I did a video on it, but I modded it, put all the games on it, and then now it's just a showpiece. I have it over there. It's on display, but I haven't turned it on since. And that's my arcade, but I didn't realize it because I didn't buy it, right? So I actually own 2 my arcade things here. But this was my first purchase that I made. I consciously, because I've always been a big fan of pole position. The sound of it just transports me back into that time period. I'm literally walking into the bowling alley or the corner store where they had the games, and I'm there. So I was interested in having one. If Arcade One Up had made one, I would have bought it. So to be able to get this thing, and it didn't sit well with the replicas and your Build-A-Cade because it was a little midget, right? And so I kind of had it over there, with my quarter scale ones because it didn't really fit here. But I saw your mod from 3D Tracker, and I'm like, I gotta get that, man. And he had actually stopped making it because he had some issues with the adhesive on some, and he actually had stopped.
Yeah, actually, I had a big problem with the labels on the sides.
Yeah,
and they kept coming off. I'm like, what the hell? So I actually had to go out and I bought a spray. I think it was Elmer's spray adhesive, and I took a chance and I sprayed it, and it's been fine ever since. But I was sitting there with vice grips. I was doing everything, and come back the next day, whoop, it kept coming back off. I'm like, damn it! But it's been solid now.
Okay, yeah. See, I haven't experienced any of that. So he was saying that. I'm like, look, man, I understand the risk, but you got to sell this to me, okay? Because I can't put this in my collection where it needs to be without it. And he said, okay, I would do it. And I have not had any issues. And since then, he opened it back up and he's been selling it. And as far as I know, I hadn't heard anybody have that issue. So I don't know if it was just a bad batch that he had from whoever.
It was only on the lower half. So with the decal it was smooth and it stick. But on the 3D printed part, it would become like gull wings. It would just come out no matter what I did. But once I used some 3M spray adhesive, it was good.
No, I have not had that issue at all. I put it on day one, and it's been that way as well. So I'm not sure what was going on with yours, but I'm glad he picked it back up and was sold it to me. Again, these things, we talk about the price and stuff. It's like, everything's too high. It's too high price, but sometimes it's worth it, right? It's worth it for Joe Sable's thing. You can say, that's expensive, but to have this Donkey Kong, that's the only Donkey Kong I have in any of my collection of any size. The thing is freaking beautiful. So to me, it's well worth it. This was well worth it for the pole position. I love this Coca-Cola machine,
And it works. That Coca-Cola machine, it really cools those cans. It does.
Yeah, it cools the cans. It dispenses the cans. You can actually put little quarters in it to, and that's when people come over there like, I can't believe these games actually work. I'm like, everything in this miniature arcade literally works. You can walk up to it and insert a coin in most of them and start playing, and so it's cool. And I used to have all the big games, machines on when I do my videos, but the little one behind me serves purpose and uses less energy to do so.
Well, Detroit, I got to tell you, if you don't have it, the My Arcade Space Invaders Pro, it's still about $50.
Okay.
It does the Pepper Ghost effect.
Okay.
So you have the invaders on like a reflection, like they did in the arcade, and I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. 3D Tracker makes a stand for that as well. That was the first one he actually did.
Okay.
It is completely, if you like Space Invaders even a little bit, but for that arcade, you have to have it. It's phenomenal.
I have the quarter the
numbskull.
Yeah.
So just picture that fairly good effect. It's almost just identical to that effect, but now would be you can put it next to your Donkey Kong, your pole position. You can stick it right in there.
I would have to, I have Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. They both essentially are the same thing, so I have to take out one, or I have to get a bigger table,
Well, you can we got to buy one of those little carts. So every once in a while, you move in, you pull an arcade out. You used to do it all the time. You move an arcade out, and you put another one in its place.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first started getting it to be a real arcade, now I got the background, which is a simulation homebrew version of what New Wave Toys is. I guess they're out and available. I don't think anybody's received any of them yet, but they were taking pre-orders. So I kind of made mine with just some boxes, from shipping box, and some prints. I love this site called, I believe it's blockposters.com. You can take any photo and they'll make the picture in any size that you want. It's just in 8.5 by 11 sheets. You can do landscaping or, portrait, and you can make posters of any picture, And of course they'll have the lines in, but you can cut the lines out if you want, because print jobs don't go to the edge. You know that, right? There's going to be a border around it.
Right.
If you want, you can cut them out. But even with the if you keep the white lines on it, they still look really nice. And for free, you can't beat that, right? So I built that. So then I got the carpet with the 3D. I got a 3D light that'll shine down on it. So this thing's really come together. It looks freaking
I
incredible.
mean, it really does look good. I mean, I've seen it a couple of times. I mean, you did a real nice job. They got the people in there playing. You did.
Yeah,
It looks really, really good.
Yeah, because initially when I first got, I'm like, I felt like like we were saying about the Pinball FX VR, right? It's like, why is this arcade empty? Can't be empty, right? You know, arcade is for people. You know, that's the whole purpose. And so I dug in back on the other side of the wall where all my storage of old devices and everything else that the world of forgotten items are, you know, behind the curtain there. Is the girls' toy box from when they were little girls, and I could barely get in there, just reach my arm in there, you know, from all the junk around it. I pulled out about 5 or 6 of their old Barbies, and most of them had arms missing, legs missing, heads missing, you know. So I pulled out this one guy that, you know, he was the best of what I could, so I had him in there. But I'm like, yeah, this is not how the person look at the arcade I grew up in, right? No, I got to have somebody that's reflective of my history with the arcade. So I got these two folk here, and you know, Michael B was giving me some trouble with it because it's funny because he had this big high top haircut. I'm like, well, so you got so much hair, so I cut his hair down, and I had all these shavings, so I gave him a mustache, I gave him a beard.
Oh, you put that on him?
Yeah, put some chest hair on him with, you know, I started to give him some underarm hair too, but I said, that's going too far. It's going too far. But yeah, so I made him a little more mature than he was. He was a little baby face guy there, you know. So yeah, so we're having a ball. And I don't know if you caught any of the, what do you call it? The animation when you make a non.
Yep. Still motion. Stop motion.
Yeah, stop motion. Yeah. So I did a couple of stop motion. You know, like, so I can hack anything, right? I can do anything for you know, for the purpose. So I did a little stop action with them, and so that was a fun little thing. But you know, I position them around. I got one stool. I'll keep saying I'm gonna get another one, you know, for $20. I'll have to get another one so she can sit there. You know, they both can sit down. But I move them around. They'll play all the games at any given time, you know. And what's nice is because I'm here, I can turn my chair, just spin around, and I can play any of the cabinets anytime I want. So it's really convenient. So I end up playing these more than I play the real ones because it's just so, you know, convenient there. But,
Convenient.
Yep. But yeah.
And I wanted to bring up something else that you had done a video recently, and I thanked you up and down for. I mean, right in the center of between you and me right now, I have my Dragon's Lair with the ball and chain TV sets.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be dropping a video the next day or so because he has version 2 out, which is the one on the machine now. Version 1 is to the right of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good for these type of situations. But I'm also looking for like a TV that would just play like movies or you know, TV shows, just and with sound and stuff. And you found one.
Yeah. So I originally I had been doing this segment called "You on the Web" on
Right.
Super Game Room Dudes, and because I'm always on the web, but I don't always partake in everything. So I'm trying to be more engaging in the community, and so I go each week and I try to find something that catches my curiosity. And I did one a few weeks back with the 7-Eleven Cade. I don't know if you caught that one.
I did.
The guy, he made this, and he did some stop motion with his as well, and that's where I got the idea from. But in that 7-Eleven Cade, he had this little TV in the background, you know, up on the shelf or up.
Oh,
on
is
the
that
top.
where you found it from? Was from that video?
No, that's not where I found it. That's what sparked the interest, right?
Gotcha.
I'm like, and he was playing something, but I think he just made that, and it didn't really play the videos. It's something to explain, but it wasn't something I could just go out and get, you know. So I was like, that's a bummer. And then I saw this thing on YouTube that you have for the,
which I think I have a picture of it right here because literally we were talking about this all week, and that's it right there.
Yeah,
it literally just arrived.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So before this, I saw what you have, the videos that you're going to be releasing. I saw those, you know, for the Dragon's Lair.
Right.
And I got all excited, going like, "Oh, that's a little TV. That's exactly what I want." But when I investigated it, I went down the rabbit hole. I'm like, "Oh no, that's just a monitor, just for displaying. That's just one purpose, and that's not what I'm looking for." So I'm like, and that was, I think that was like $80 or something like that. I'm like,
85. Yep.
yeah. I'm like, it's a single purpose. I don't really. That's not my experience with Dragon's Lair. I've never seen that in the real world, right?
I saw it one time.
Yeah. So I had no. It piqued my interest only because I thought I could use it for what I wanted to do, but I couldn't. So I'm like, no, I'm not interested in that for $85. You know what I mean? So I went down the rabbit hole farther. I found this thing here on AliExpress, and again, the description is so cryptic, and and you see so many that look to be the same, but they all say something different, but they all have the same exact pictures, right?
Right.
So I'm like, is it even going to do what it says it's going to do? And so I got this for like $30, and even with shipping, so I said I can take a risk with that, right? And this thing just works out perfectly. And so it has 8 gig of internal memory. You plug it into the computer with the mini USB port, and you can just drop videos in. It just automatically plays them in sequence, And
there are some pre-installed that I was actually surprised how many videos there were on it from the get-go.
Yeah, I think it was like 40, and it was like SpongeBob and things you can recognize, but it was all in Chinese language. So it's like, oh yeah, you could play it, but the audio is all Chinese, right?
Right. I actually liked watching the Chinese like shows, like soap operas or whatever they had on there. It was like what they have some weird imagination.
Yeah,
I mean, they really have some shows that are like really way out there.
Right. Yeah, my girls, and my sons, they really love anime. So I'm used to. A lot of times those things are dubbed, and sometimes they aren't dubbed. So I'm used to it. My girls took 4 years of both of them took 4 years of Chinese, though they refused to speak any of it. So I kind of
they actually took to learn the language. They did.
Yeah, because high school they had to take it, and then they took it in college as well. But I'm like, why don't you guys at least talk to people when we order Chinese? But they just won't do it. I'm like, I took French in high school. I took German, and then I still speak some phrases all these years later. You know what I mean? But they just refuse to. So I'm familiar with some of the Chinese terms because they've taken the language and I've heard it over the years. So yeah, I didn't delete them. I just created a folder and I just moved them into that folder.
Yep. So that's my plan as well.
Yeah, so they're still there. And then so I just created downloaded the videos. So I have it set up where it's like you have 2 commercials, then a show. Whether it's a music video, then 2 more commercials, then it could be a TV show, and then 2 more commercials. So it'll just play in the background on my miniature arcade like it's a TV. You can,
right. And just to make everyone clear that this is a working video player. So the sound, it'll play videos, and it's like about $35 roughly.
Yeah, it's a little more pricier on Amazon than it was
of course.
On Express, but but yeah, it is not broadcasting. It doesn't have a digital antenna or anything like that. It's just.
But I like what you did. You made a rabbit ear out of you made a little coat hanger, which is like you said. Usually that's what we had back in the day in these TV sets. It wasn't a regular antenna.
Yeah, so I took off the built-in antenna, which is that just okay. So it had a antenna on it. I just took that off and put my antenna on because that's the way the TVs always ended up in my house.
It did. It really did.
Somebody would break this thing off, and then you would have to get a hanger to get that thing signal to come through.
That was awesome. When I saw you do that, I was like, "Damn, that's it right there."
Yeah, you got to do that. That's and just paper clip. So I have one of the videos showing me how I made it. But yeah, this thing's cool. And my wife, who doesn't care about any of this stuff down here until we have guests over, then she got to show off. Let's come down to the game room, and we'll play games and everything. But outside that, she's never down here. She's not interested in pinball, PlayStation, none of this stuff. But she saw this. She was like, "That is freaking cool." She says, "You gotta make me one for my desk at work."
But you know why she said that, right? This is originally for a dollhouse. These were like girl dollhouse parts.
Yeah, but
That's why she liked it.
She wants to have all the old school shows. So
TV
she gave me a
shows,
list.
of
She wanna
course.
have What's Happening, Good Times, The Jeffersons, you know.
Hey.
Yeah, she want all those shows. So she gave me a list. So I'm gonna make her. I just ordered today.
She gave you a list?
Yep, gave me a list. These are the shows she wants. And then, so I was out in the garden today. This time of year, me and my wife, we work hand in hand out in the garden, and so we're building a new path. And sometimes I have my headphones on, but then I can't hear her because she's gonna be calling me to do something, right? So I don't like to have the headphones on. So I had this guy out there just perched up on one of the beds while I was playing, because it's playing videos and it's playing things, and she was like, "Is that the old Detroit Zoo commercial?" And she's like, "Oh, that's neat." So she loves the idea, so she can't wait to get hers. So I'm gonna get it and build it and put that, get that for her. I got her the same one. They had different colors, red. What color did you go with? The gray.
I went the same as you did. I went with that color because we had a couple of old TV sets, and that's what they were.
Yeah. Yep.
The only thing I wish, again, it's very relatively inexpensive for what it is. I wish they had made it when you turn the channel to be that next one. That would have been kind of neat.
Right, or even if you just made that the button, right?
Right.
Instead of having the button down here, if that was the button and that was to go forward and backwards, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The beggars can't be choosers. It's pretty neat for what it is.
Yeah. So I'm pretty impressed with this guy, man. So it fits in well to create that arcade experience back there, because you always had some TV, whether you're at Chuck E. Cheese or wherever you were, and even if your arcade didn't, that was the era. So it captures the era of that 80s era. So I have, one of the songs for me was Jefferson Starship. We built this city. When I hear that, I'm instantly back at college. You know what I mean? In the 80s. Janet Jackson. So I have all the things. Every song, every commercial, every music video, every TV show on my TV triggers those memories. For me. So I picked all Detroit-based commercials that I listened to as a kid, right? Highlands Appliance. As a kid, you thought everybody had a Highlands Appliance, right? Or Art Van Furniture, but you realize that you got adults. Those are just regional stores, because then all the big boys, Best Buy and Circuit City, those people started coming in. Instead of Hudson's, then had Macy's coming.
Right.
And we had Walmart, we had a Kmart, and then Walmart, knocked them out.
Snuffed them out.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So so to be able to have those, when you're sitting here and just have that playing in the background, man, it's just a literal trip down memory lane that you can't get for $30 anywhere, right?
Right. If it puts a smile on your face, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing about it, if you're a 90s kid or an early 2000s kid, you can put those shows on it, right? And I think something like this, for a lot of people's parents, that God bless that they're still here, a lot of them get dementia and things like that, to be able to put the shows, the old black and white shows, and Charlie Chaplin, or whatever they like, to be able to, for this price, to be able to build something like that for them, that they can sit on and turn that on and have that playing in their in their room or in their living room. That would be such a wild trip for them to be able to relive those memories. And so I think when I came across that, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I got to get this, and it just fits in perfectly in the environment.
And I take it off my head too, because I've been looking for this for like years. I never thought to look at like dollhouse items. They would make something like that, but I guess they made a pinball. They made one of those dolls. They had a pinball machine, I guess, or an arcade machine that was fairly decent. I forgot the name of it. Okay. So I guess they were making stuff that worked, and that's where this one came from. And I got to still take mine out and get it ready and view on that one. But I want to ask you, we're coming up to the top. Actually, we're at the top of the hour. What's your plans for the weekend? What are you going to be doing?
So I was off today. I'm off Monday, so I got a super long weekend. Saturdays is always my time with my wife. We go out and run our errands and do all that stuff. But my birthday was at the end of March, and me and the fellas, we still hadn't had a chance to get together. So it's Easter and everything, so we're trying to we definitely do our Easter dinner and all that type of stuff. But we plan to get out and get some drinks or something somewhere. My brother was supposed to come in town on Monday from Ohio. He's in Columbus, and so that's why I took Monday off. But then he changed it to Tuesday, and I can't take Tuesday off. So I said, I'll just keep Monday off. And so Tuesday night he's gonna get here and we'll go out and have some drinks. But I'm a real family orientated guy, man. The weather today was absolutely beautiful. It's like 78 degrees out here. I had on a sweatsuit working out in the yard. I'm like, I got to go put on something different. This is too hot, I didn't expect it to get that hot. I don't think they even expected to get that hot. But
I think it's supposed to be a warm weekend. I think it's supposed to be fairly decent. Yeah,
we had some intermittent rain today, but nothing that keep you from doing anything. But yeah, so just plan on spending some time with family and friends over the weekend. You got any plans? I know you're saying that your son was doing some traveling. I don't know if
yeah, we're gonna do some family things, but I wanted to see Bunny Blue. So I got a little video here because obviously Easter's coming Sunday. So I'm gonna bring up this little browser window here. Hopefully I can. They're not gonna open up, of course not. Let's see, is it this one? There we go. Let's see here.
Yeah, see, we have a cat. My daughter brought a cat home from college, a little kitten. He's 2 years old now, but they love dressing him up like that. He can't stand it, just like Blue, right there. You buy those things, they're only gonna wear it for like 2 seconds, literally. But they always have something that this cat wears for 2 seconds.
They tear it off. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
But that's really it. I have hopefully get some things done tomorrow. I got to finish a couple more videos. There's a funny thing. There's an ad going on right now about on YouTube about content creators always have to be making videos. Always feel like you have to be live all the time, and that is fairly true. At least I think it's kind of true. You was like, I didn't post a video, and then you're posting videos. Or I haven't done something live. You got to put something up live. But you seem to be more chill about it. You seem like you just do it when you do it.
Yeah. Like I said, I used to, with my Palm Loyal website back then, I used to make about $400 or $500 a month off that thing. I'm not made nearly that with this because I just, it's not a priority. It's something I enjoy. It's a hobby. You know what I mean? It's great that it tips me from time to time. So I appreciate people, joining and, it's just something I enjoy doing. You know what I mean? I'm not under any pressure to do it. My most busiest video time is always in the wintertime because once the weather breaks, I am not indoors.
Right.
I'm outside in the garden. I'm outside on my bike. I'm outside running. I'm outside hanging out with friends, So I really, because I'm in Detroit, we have the winter, we have the 4 seasons, right? So we all kind of get forced indoors and then we know it's short-lived. Even spring is short-lived. It's like, it'll be cold, and then all of a sudden it's hot, So they always skip that, and even in fall it's like that sometimes. Like, and then boom, we're in the winter, even though it's not winter yet. We get that cold. So we appreciate the outdoors here. I mean, Michigan has tons of water, right? With the Great Lakes, we have tons of lakes and streams and rivers and everything. So we always like to get out there. We have tons of golf courses for the smallest, probably the smallest season in the country, for golf. Yet we have the more golf courses than anybody in the country. You know what I mean? So we Michiganders, we love the outdoors, man. We love being out there because we appreciate it. You guys around the country have where you guys have warm weather all the time. My mom's in Florida now. They'll complain like, "Oh, it's cold down here." Oh, I'm like, what is it, like 75 degrees, but yeah, and here it's just so weird because today was 71 initially, but even 51 degrees with sun is extremely warm here. You know what I mean? So we just have a different climate here.
Right.
Once that sun comes out and it gets hot, but and we don't typically get 100 degrees, nothing crazy like that. So it's usually nice, enjoyable weather that you can really get outside and enjoy it. So that's what I like to do, man. So I like doing the videos. I've done the most I've done this winter than I've done in ages. And YouTube actually robbed me. I didn't research it because I probably could have fought this. They just arbitrarily say, "Oh, you're reusing somebody else's content," and it comes out they did that to 1 million people. So hopefully there's going to be a class action suit because they clearly stole money from all of us.
Yeah,
that's not warranted. You know what I mean? And because their AI, you know, made some distinction that you've done something, and then they had this appeal process that they clearly didn't look at the content, right? So the humans were obviously overwhelmed, or they had an AI do the review, and so it's just BS. It's just total BS.
Well, that's the harder thing with companies these days. It's almost you can't get hold of a human. You're dealing with an automated system, and it doesn't know any better. There's nuances to everything.
Right.
Even fair use. There's times we can use someone else's content if you're doing a report on that or using it in a fair use kind of way. But automatic with YouTube, it's like bam, you can't do that, and that's not what it's meant to be at. To be honest, but
right. So that's unfortunate. So they stole some of the money I would have made over since December, but now it's back monetized. You know, but again, they're not going to give me the money back that they stole. You know, unfortunately. But again, it's not all about the money. I appreciate getting a tip from time to time from them, you know. But they shouldn't make. I mean, these videos, as you know, take a lot to do. It takes a lot to make these videos, to make them entertaining, to make them, and for and they're making money, whether they're giving you money, period. So they're making
the lion's share. They make the lion's share.
They're making the lion's share. So to steal it from us content creators, man, is horrible. Is a very evil thing to do. Whether it's intentional or unintentional. But so hopefully there's a class action suit, and they'll just throw pennies at us, right? Either way, but it's got to be some.
They'll give us a month free of YouTube Premium.
Right, they got to do something there. But I already paid for the premium because I can't stand the ads.
I'm the opposite. I used to have it, but when they raised the price, I got it was a family plan. It was like I don't know, $13 a month. But that's a good deal. Then it became, now it's like 14 to 15 just for yourself. I was like, you know what? I'll watch the ads.
Yeah, I think it's 20 something now for the family.
Yeah, no way. No way. Like YouTube TV. I got it was like 29 or $30 a month.
Yep.
Now it was like $80 a month. I'm like, you're just as bad. Yeah, you're as bad as it was before. Got rid of you too.
Yeah, but that really comes from the content creators, people like ESPN and those guys like that. They figured it out.
It's a streaming service. I don't uncheck it. I don't want those things. All I really wanted was just basic TV, the basic channels. But now I'll go to Pluto TV and all those other ones, which are free. I'll use them.
Tubi,
Pluto,
even can't think of one service.
Freeform or Freevee. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, yep. So it makes no sense. I haven't paid for cable TV in close to 15 years.
Same, but the problem is if you buy like Hulu and Disney, all these things, they'll be as much or more than you're paying with cable back in the day.
I still don't think it is, but it's getting close, depending on how many you have. I have everything, and my only sports that I enjoy watching on TV is NFL, professional football.
Sure.
And so it's always a challenge. I can't watch all the games because Monday nights is ESPN, Sunday nights is CBS. You know what I mean? And it's like, so some of them I have and some of them I don't. So I can't watch some of the the things. And then they want to charge you for the mobile, but you can't watch it on your TV. You can only watch on the
that got nuts. Yeah, that got really nuts.
All these little crazy things. So they just make it where you got to jump through so many hoops to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not willing to do that. So I do watch what I want. And the girls, they pay for some things now, but I think we have just about all of the services except for ESPN. And I don't think ABC does. ABC have a paid type of streaming?
I think that's Disney. I would think they're part of Disney because Disney owns ABC.
I have the Disney, but there's certain things I can't watch that's on ABC as well. But I think Fox. Fox. Yeah, I don't have the Fox streaming thing. So typically Fox and ESPN is where I get screwed for those games. But then there's streaming sites that you can go and watch it. But then
there's ways. Right. There's ways around it.
But they're going to come with their own challenges, and and if everybody and their mama's trying to watch it, then that's going to present other problems, But,
then Glenn's stream goes dead for 10 minutes. Apparently, I don't know what happened there. But listen, Carl, it was great having you on tonight. I know it is Good Friday, obviously. So for a lot of people, this is a very religious thing. Easter is on Sunday. So I want to wish you, sir, a happy weekend. Before you go, anything you want to say? Any new videos coming up? Any new things you want to announce before you go?
I don't think, I always have something shoved under somewhere, but I don't think there's anything that's pressing that I'm going to be making videos on because it's, like I said, it's time for me to go outside, get outside. So, but I appreciate all the people that watches the videos, that look forward to it. I'm going to try and be a little more, releasing more videos through the summer. I can't make any promises though, but I'm going to make every attempt to do so. If at least go live, a few times to do so. But man, I always appreciate your love for this craft, for this hobby, for the home arcades, man. I always appreciate your shows. I don't get to watch everybody. I finally caught James Hates Everything's show the other day.
It was a good show. We had a good show.
Yeah. So it's just so many things, and there's so many people popping up, and I like coming on people's shows like this because then I don't have to do anything, right? I can just show up. So, so I've been doing that. So I'll probably do that more through the summer. Support the other people like Papa Brad. I always looked at him as a friend, online friend here, but I don't know. He seemed to have thrown me into a bucket or something, and I'm not sure what's going on there. So maybe this reaches him. Reach out, brother. I would love to come on your show and help support you in your endeavors there. And anybody out here, man, if you want me to come on, drop me a line on. I'm very reachable on Facebook Messenger. That way I don't have to worry. I'll come on you guys' show, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, because I enjoy talking about this stuff. As you see, you guys don't typically get to hear from me as much because Michael B's usually likes to. But I enjoy talking about this stuff, man. I get a kick out of it. This is.
I think that's what JJ just said here. You two make a great duo on Super Game Room Dudes. Carl's often drowned out by Pete Thompson. Michael B, the Game Genie.
And again, I love the dynamics of it. I was telling Pete, I said we have to do a show on how you assembled the four of us together one day. Because I don't know where I don't know where these guys came from. I didn't know any of these guys prior to that, and then. But we are such good friends these days. Again, they chat and talk a lot more than I could possibly have time for. You know what I mean? But real cool guys, man. Much different than our online personas. But I'm the same guy on, off, in between. You know what I mean?
Yep. You and I. You seize what you get.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed meeting you in Cleveland. That was pretty.
It was good. I'm hoping we could do it at some point again. But we had a really good time out there. It was a good show. I know Michael B and a few people were a little hurting afterwards. But it was a good show.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let you go, man. I appreciate you having me on. Anytime you need a guest, man, if I'm free. Just throw the bat signal up there, and
I can do that.
If I'm free, I'll make it. If I'm not, I'll let you know. Like even this one, I'm like, I don't know. Good Friday, my wife might.
Yeah, and I would say it was good. If you can make it, great. If not, we'll figure something out. But listen, have a great night. Say hi to the family for me. Remember, always tell them what I always say. These are fun. The show is fun. Gaming's fun. But nothing takes precedence over family and friends, and he knows that. Always tell him you love him. Tomorrow's never promised.
Absolutely.
But in between those times, everyone, Carl, you have a great weekend and a great Easter. All of you out there watching the show, also to you guys, have a great weekend. If you celebrate something this weekend, enjoy it. If you don't, play some great games. But just remember to tell family and friends you love them. Tomorrow's never promised. But in between those times, what do we say, Carl?
Keep it old school.
You can do that too. But what do you say? Keep it on. You say see you on the web. Is that what you usually say? See you on the web.
Oh yeah. I thought I was recalling your slogan.
Well, everyone have a great weekend. There's no Super Game Rooms tonight. They'll be back next week. But do make sure you go over to Carl's channel and subscribe to Detroit Love. Have a great night.
Oh, hey, Glenn.
Oh, we're coming back. We'll come back. Hold on, we'll come back. We're back.
Okay.
We're back.
Oh, I did want to mention, I do have for your audience, anybody interested, I am I'm this close to 6,000 subscribers, and when I get there, I have a Zotar. I have a Zotar
Nice.
unboxed. That's somebody's going to win as soon as I hit 6,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely get over there to Detroit Love on YouTube, subscribe, and click that bell notification, because it's going to be one of those must be present to win. I'm going to do a live stream, and someone in the live is going to win it. So make sure you subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you on the web.